Copenhagen Climate Change Summit, India stages a brief walkout with China as developed nations are accused of going back on their emission cut commitments.
A divided Congress puts Telangana now on hold after the Andhra Assembly is adjourned indefinitely. Security fears force the India-Lanka ODI out of Vizag to Nagpur.
The two women were not raped and killed but drowned, says the CBI. Doctors and lawyers are charge sheeted allegedly fabricating evidence. The PDP, Muzaffarpur, Telsian and IBN, they now want a judicial inquiry.
The price rise is beginning to pinch even more. Inflation is up over 3% in just a month. Escalating food prices are pushing the numbers up. Okay, but our big talking point tonight, Justice P.D. Dinakaran could become the first Chief Justice in the country to be impeached by Parliament. That process was begun today when 76 MPs from the Rajya Sabha decided to begin the process of impeachment. Let's go across then to our panel tonight. Former Solicitor General Soli Sorabji, the BJP's General Secretary Arun Jaitley and the Congress spokesperson Abhishek Manu Singhvi, all with us. I want to come to you first, Mr. Jaitley, since you have pushed this impeachment motion. Do you think this impeachment motion will actually go through, that the left and the BJP coming together, will an impeachment motion go through, because no judge has been impeached successfully by the Parliament in the last 60 years?
The constitutional obligation and the constitutional authority to initiate a motion lies with the MPs. 76 MPs have been prima facie convinced the charges, and that is why they have signed it. It is now for the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, the Honorable Vice President, to prima facie form an opinion and admit the motion if he so thinks fit. After admitting the motion, he has to appoint a 3-member inquiry committee which will investigate the charges. That's a constitutional process. There is no alternative process, and the authority and the obligation is both on Parliament to do it.
Okay, that's the perspective of the BJP and the left. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, why is the Congress reluctant to join this impeachment motion? What is it? What is holding back the Congress from joining hands with the BJP and the left against Justice Dinakaran and possibly impeaching him?
I think you've got it wrong, Rajdeep. That's not so. I made it myself clear specifically. This was moved for the first time 2 to 3 days ago. The Congress has not taken any decision either way. It could as well support this resolution. It's fully open. It could oppose it. Indeed, it could give a third option. Each MP can decide on his own without any party diktat. So there is absolutely no question of taking a view either way. There are Telangana, there is Lebanon debate, there is Parliament, there are lots of things happening. You can't have instant reactions. But let me tell you one thing. Nothing stops this resolution from going to the stage of an inquiry committee being appointed by the Vice President, the Chairman of our House, for the simple reason that it is for him to decide. It doesn't require an affirmative vote of Congress or anybody else.
Okay.
The moment you cross 50 and the Vice President thinks in his discretion to admit it, he can then go ahead and appoint the committee. The stage for the Congress, or for that matter for the balance roughly 180 odd members of the House, deciding either way, individually or collectively, arrives much later after the report.
All right, a quick response, Arun Jaitley. The Congress isn't giving its plan yet, but isn't it a bit disappointing? Isn't this an issue where you'd like to have some political bipartisanship, if you like?
Mr. Jaitley.
Well, I think there is a law, there should be a procedure which simplifies the whole process, and I am given to understand that the present law minister is already working at it.
Let me bring in Soli Sorabji at this moment. Mr. Sorabji, you're hearing the two political parties talking about impeachment. Where do you stand? You and other senior jurists have taken this up. At the moment, Justice Dinakaran says there's not enough evidence. You're only hanging him on the basis of allegations.
No one is hanging him. The inquiry will take place. After the requisite signatures have been obtained, the impeachment process will start. There will be an inquiry committee of 2 judges and a distinguished jurist. Dinakaran will have full opportunity to explain his stand, to defend himself, and then a decision will be taken. But prima facie, the very fact that so many members of Parliament of Rajya Sabha have signed it, and they have signed it on the basis of not gossip of the bar. Allegations made by responsible people, supported by documents of the orders he has passed, supported by other documents. But why go further? The conductor made a report against him. He says it's motivated. Very well. That's all we got into. But this is a case for impeachment. One can't keep quiet. Whether finally he is found guilty or not, one shouldn't be judged. No, prima facie, there is a case for impeachment process.
So, but isn't impeachment an extremely cumbersome process? That the fact is that in the last 60 years, no judge has been successfully impeached. Do you believe impeachment really was the solution, or do you believe that Justice Dinakaran action should have been taken by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Mr. Justice Balakrishnan, who some reports suggest is actually supporting Justice Dinakaran?
No, there's some nonsense. Chief Justice can't dismiss a Chief Justice of another High Court. He has to be removed, and it can be only by the method provided by the Constitution. What you are saying is about his elevation to the Supreme Court. These are two different issues. Please understand one thing, that this provision was, I'm very sorry that we've had to use this. I'm very sorry that the stage has come that such allegations are made against the sitting Chief Justice of the High Court. It pains me. But simplification, suggestions have been made to remove this procedure, rather replace the procedure with a procedure of a National Judicial Council.
Right.
But that is still being considered.
In fact, that's just the question. Abhishek, Manu Singhvi, your government in its first term had promised many judicial reforms. They seem to have come to naught. Is that something that you are looking to hasten now?
Sagrika, I think a large number of people believe that impeachment is a brahmastra which can hardly ever be used. And I agree, most people agree that the procedure as it exists is cumbersome, very protracted and very uncertain. I think, however, so long as that is the Constitution, you can't do anything except follow that. As far as alternative procedures are concerned, they are taking time. The very committee I sit on in Parliament, we recommended a certain form of a judge's inquiry procedure, but it wasn't accepted. Indeed, lots of high courts and lots of political parties opposed it. So these things take time. I can't commit on behalf of the National Judicial Commission, but certainly I agree that in the times to come, a substitute, a more pragmatic substitute for impeachment should be there. But till that comes, you have to follow 124.
But let me bring in Arun Jaitley. Mr. Jaitley, do you really believe this will lead anywhere in a fixed time frame? I mean, it could take months. While Justice Dinakaran continues as the Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court, it could take months, possibly even 12 months, by the time we get any result on the impeachment proceedings in Parliament.
Well, the committee has to function. It takes a little time. I have no doubt that that process is on, and I'm sure that the process will go through.
But sir, do you think as a former law minister there should be some kind of a deadline for these impeachment proceedings?
Well, I think the need is to simplify procedures, and the law minister has already discussed an alternative procedure with me. I think he's already working at it. I'll wait for his last word on the subject.
But sir, I want to ask all three of you, because all three of you are distinguished lawyers, two of you are politicians. Isn't the real problem at the moment a crisis of faith in the judiciary? Mr. Dinakaran, in a sense, could be the tip of the iceberg. There are documents against him, but there are allegations against several judges that are being made from time to time. They don't all result in impeachment before Parliament.
Well, I think the quality of the judiciary reflects what's happening in the society. It can't be very different. Our appointment procedure is now being unable to select the very best. And that's a difficulty. We have to seriously introspect it and find out ways how we can improve upon the quality.
All right. Soli Sarabji, do you think we need to change the process of how we judge the judiciary? We have viewers writing in, one of them asking, judges always have contempt of court on their side. If you criticize the court, you get a notice, but not when they themselves are culpable of anything. Do you think that process needs to be rationalized?
The viewer seems to be ignorant of the amendment to the Contempt of Court Act, which says the defense of truth can be urged. No use saying that some writer has said so many chief justices are corrupt, but I cannot prove it. Then what do you mean? Make those allegations?
But no,
if you make an allegation, you should have the strength to prove it.
But Mr. Sarabji, do you believe that given the weight of these allegations that are being made time to time in different courts, the present system simply is not functioning effectively enough to actually ensure that the corrupt judges are caught?
No, I don't think so. Actually, you have one judge of the Delhi High Court is facing criminal prosecution. I think Justice Mukherjee. Arun will correct me if I'm wrong. Another Calcutta judge, impeachment process has been started. And after all, you must remember, allegations have to be weighed. It's very easy to make allegations. There has to be some substance in it. Then only you can move.
Okay, and a final word from you, Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Will you and the Congress party go ahead with the opposition? Will we see complete unity, BJP left Congress, or is this again going to be a partisan issue?
And I think you're asking for a decision on television on an issue on which there has been no decision. All I can assure you is that it is completely open. Any of the three alternatives are itemized are possible. Please don't assume that there is a decision taken against the proposal. So I think you have to just wait for a while. But as I said, the procedure to reach that stage can go on without delay. The Congress's decision either way will have relevance only at the time of the 2/3 voting.
Okay, so you're saying at the moment that the procedure can go ahead if the Vice President so decides. Well, that could be a remarkable precedent if the government does decide, if impeachment proceedings do go ahead against the sitting Chief Justice. Arun Jaitley, Soni Sorabji, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, appreciate your joining us here on Talking Point here on India at 9. Let's turn to the top international story now. Abu Dhabi today stepped in with a $10 billion bailout offer for Dubai World, which is caught in a multi-billion-dollar debt crisis. A Dubai government statement today says that as part of the $10 billion package, $4.1 billion will be allocated to Dubai World to take care of its immediate debt obligations.
Someone else who's been hit. Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi was rushed to hospital on Sunday evening after being hit in the face at the end of a rally. Berlusconi's nose has been fractured, two of his teeth broken in that attack. Now, Italian police arrested a 42-year-old man who they say threw a small statue at the leader. Berlusconi was hit on the head with a camera tripod as well in Rome in 2004. He seems to be having another run of pretty bad luck here.
Okay, there's plenty more ahead. We'll get you all the day's top sports stories in a moment from now.
Mali hero Yuvraj Singh being ruled out for the ODI series with Lanka. More on that, as well as Tiger Woods' sex scandals. They've cost him another sponsor, and this one's a big one.
That's right. After Gillette and Gatorade, it's Accenture which terminates its 5-year contract with the golfer. The Tiger's tale coming up ahead.
No more sheep too. Stay with us.